Prime Minister Narendra Modi has made history by becoming the first Indian Prime Minister to visit Brunei Darussalam. He has received a grand ceremonial welcome from the Crown Prince Haji Al Muthadin and the Indian diaspora. This meeting is incredibly important, particularly given China's escalating aggression in the South China Sea. Brunei, located on the northern shore of Borneo in the South China Sea, is the smallest yet the most richest state in the world. With a population of less than 5 lakhs, this tiny nation covers 5,765 square kilometers with a GDP of $33.8 billion. This small nation has been ruled by the same Sultan family for 600 years. Its socialist society is possibly the closest any country has come to a complete welfare state. The Sultan's government pays from education, healthcare and most other living expenses of its citizens, financed through Brunei's massive oil and natural gas wealth, thus giving them the title of the Shelfare. Brunei embodies the definition of a mono economy, with oil and natural gas making up a full 99% of its exports. On the second day of his visit, Prime Minister Modi is scheduled to meet with Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah of Brunei at the Istana Nurul Iman Palace, the official residence of the Sultan. Well, joining us now live is Major General Sudhakarji, defense expert. Major General Sudhakarji, how key is this Brunei-India partnership at a time when, of course, China is turning hostile in the South China Sea? And how will Prime Minister Modi's trip help this partnership, also given the fact that it's the first time any Indian PM is visiting Brunei after independence?
Uday, firstly, good morning. Thank you for getting me to your show. And I also extend compliments to my co-panelists and the viewers. It's very, very important in the changing dynamics and the evolving global order as on today. I think it couldn't have been better. And it is well said that better late than never. You see, although it has taken India 40 long years to realize the importance of Brunei. Now, what are the issues? That I wish to highlight a couple of issues. We are all aware of what is happening around the world, be it the Russia-Ukraine preceded by the pandemic. Now you have the Hamas and the Israel thing spreading onto the Hezbollah side, as also Iran is poised to strike anytime at its discretion, where it thinks it is right and beneficial. So similarly, Indo-Pacific is assuming a central point of actually conflict. People may not realize because of lack of proximity, but the East China Sea, when you talk about the Diao Island or the Shikoku Island or the South China, mindful of the fact that the viewers should understand that almost close to $5 trillion worth of merchandise the products they actually transit through South China Sea. Almost about China's export is close to 60%. 60% in a year, they pass through the maritime routes. And same is the case with India. India has almost close to 55% of all its exports passing through this particular corridor. So what am I trying to highlight? I wish to highlight that Brunei is right at the tip of the mouth of the funnel depicting the South China Sea. Also, Brunei is a very important member of ASEAN, APEC, and also, I would say, the RCEP, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. You know, the RCEP, from where India had actually withdrawn a couple of years back, 2-3 years back, is one such kind of a grouping which put together, they have almost about 13 trillion worth of GDP countries, almost 15 countries in that. So all these countries, they enjoy FTA. So as of today, what is standing out as a big challenge is the Chinese penetration into South.
Absolutely. And let me bring in Gautam Mukherjee, senior journalist, in on that point as well, because Gautam Mukherjee, besides seeking, of course, cooperation with Brunei on their vast oil reserves, what is the value for us in establishing this defense partnership with a small island nation, but an important one?
Well, first things first, they have a lot of oil, even though they're tiny, and we have never approached them to buy their oil. I think one of the things that will come out of this very first meeting, if you like, visit by an Indian Prime Minister to Brunei, is that we will start buying their oil, which means that there will be an important connection because that is their main export. In terms of defense, I think it will be a natural corollary because they are also in the zone of Chinese aggression. So automatically, they will also want to participate with Quad, with India on a bilateral basis, possibly, involve themselves in bilateral exchanges and exercises that we have with a number of other countries, including tiny Singapore. So Brunei is definitely a good move on the part of the MEA and the Prime Minister. And they are largely neutral, so they will, I think, fall into a good relationship with India going forward. Uday.
Absolutely. Stay with us. In fact, Professor Madhav Nalapath, editorial director of the Sunday Guardian, also is joining us now on the broadcast. Professor Nalapath, why is this? We've, of course, just spoken about with our other panelists why this partnership is important for India. But Professor Nalapath, why is this partnership important for Brunei too?
Look, the fact is that China is an expansionist power. If it finds that Brunei has no other alternative, it will squeeze Brunei very hard. If Brunei can show China, CCP, we have alternatives. A very big country, a very powerful country, India, is very friendly to us. It then gives them a lot of breathing space vis-a-vis China. So I'm not calling it a question of balancing. I'm calling it a question of offsetting the aggressive way in which the Chinese want it all. The Americans in the past used to want it all. Now the Chinese have basically adopted the old American technique, wanting everything. I want everything. I want the whole world. And that's the point. So that's what Brunei is worried about, and being very friendly to India. I must say, they have rolled out the reddest of red carpets for Prime Minister Modi. I don't believe that they would have done anything better for Xi Jinping. They have treated Modi, which is a factually correct situation, on par with Xi Jinping. Why? Because Modi, Xi Jinping, Biden and Putin are the most consequential leaders of the world today. So from the Brunei point of view, India gives them a breathing space again vis-a-vis China. It offsets the aggressive expansionism and desire for full control of China. China wants to convert every country into a satellite country, the way Pakistan is, for example. And Brunei, the people of Brunei are very proud, even though there are about 500,000. The royal family is a family with a straight back and a straight spine. They all have a military background, and they have a very, very strong sense of national identity. So I think the Prime Minister Modi's very timely visit is very welcome to the whole of Brunei. And may I again repeat, it's an island of moderation. Wahhabism is put down with an iron hand in Brunei. Only the real, genuine face of Islam, moderate Islam, is tolerated. And that is a very, very significant point. And that is why Prime Minister Modi has been given the reddest of red carpet welcome by the ruling family of Brunei, and indeed not only by the Indian diaspora, but the entire population of Brunei. This is headline news. It's big news in Brunei. It's big news all over the region. Uday.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Professor Nalapath. In fact, stay with us. These are visuals now on our screen of the meeting that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is holding with the Sultan of Brunei. In fact, Prime Minister Modi now visiting Istana Nurul Iman Palace in Brunei. These are the latest visuals coming in, which we put out on our screens. These are pictures of course, Prime Minister Narendra Modi meeting with the Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah of Brunei. at the Istana Nurul Iman Palace. Now, this, of course, is a very important and crucial meeting, of course, as PM Modi continues, Professor Nalapath, his two-day visit. Today, of course, is the second day of his visit, and this is a very crucial meeting taking place currently at the Istana Nurul Iman Palace.
Uday,
what do you believe will be on the agenda?
On the agenda, frankly, some things are going to be discussed by delegation members in private, but on the agenda will be the warmth and cordiality which the Sultan will demonstrate, and the warmth and empathy that Prime Minister Modi will demonstrate. This is something which Xi Jinping cannot replicate. The man has no empathy. Prime Minister Modi has empathy. The Sultan has empathy. Both of them have a straight back and a strong spine. Both of them are proud of their own countries and proud of the fact that their countries do not try to dominate other countries. So I think you will see the two of them becoming very close friends during this very important meeting. Two leaders with vision and empathy are getting together and establishing a close brotherly bond with each other, Uday.
Absolutely. Professor Nalapath, in fact, stay with us. Let me also get in Major General Sudhakarji now. Major General Sudhakarji, what has India done for ASEAN nations which continue to bolster ties with us despite pressure from China?
This is a very good question. This is one of the very significant steps India has initiated. In fact, being a military general, I would say I'm looking at from the perspective of the shoulders of South China Sea. As on today, close to $975 billion worth of trade of China is passing through South China Sea and Malacca Strait annually. If that be so, looking at it militarily, I would say in conjunction with the expansionism which China is displaying today, the eastern flank or the shoulder, right shoulder of South China Sea was absent of any footprint of India. So Brunei, to that an extent, to a military mind, provides an excellent footprint. We have Vietnam to the western coast, and the right shoulder is well taken care of. Thereafter, the Malacca, our presence is very dominated. So this is the military aspect. The second aspect I would like to share with our viewers is that, as per me, the Indo-Pacific is going to turn out to be very, very violent in times ahead if it is not contained adequately to put China in its place. Now, containing China is not an easy job. For that, you have to do a lot of activities with a lot of vision. One of the steps is India is doing this. A third and most important point, Uday, as on today, the ASEAN nations, they assume the centrality of the concept of Indo-Pacific. If that be so, then does India have a kind of a healthy trade balance with the ASEAN nations? No, the total trade as on today, bilateral I would say, is approximately $86 to $87 billion, and $45 billion is trade deficit against India. So if that be so, we need to actually re-energize the FTA agreement with individual countries and also with ASEAN as far as possible. Last point, Uday, is that the time has come wherein we have to actually ride the back of the economy as a tiger. The economy is going to drive India to what we want to achieve by 2047, a global status or a developed country, or earlier than that. If that be so, then ASEAN and particularly countries like Brunei and Singapore will be providing launchpad for India to expand its economic wings and also enable us to put us in place from where we can export our large number of products and goods. Back to you, Uday.
All right. Let me, in fact, quickly, get in Gautam Mukherjee now on also the significance of this visit and this meeting as well today that is currently taking place, the pictures of which are on our screens now, Gautam, in context of the larger and the new emerging global order as well. What is the significance of this visit to Brunei of Prime Minister Narendra Modi?
Well, as a member of Quad, India is involved with the West as well as Japan. Now, Brunei has always had excellent relationship with the West. And India has been, negligent in terms of a direct bilateral relationship with Brunei. That has now been rectified. And in the ongoing, ASEAN, as the general pointed out, is very important in terms of, multilateral and bilateral trade. But China has a, pretty strong grip on it, and it is difficult for India, which is still developing its export muscles, to do very much over there. But one thing that India is very good at is the importation of petroleum. Next to China, India is the biggest importer of petroleum goods. It has helped Russia and India immensely during the Ukraine war. And now we have a country which is moderate and is, in a sense, in the Western camp that we are engaging with in terms of petroleum. I presume that is top of the agenda. It'll be known very soon when they start making joint statements and statements of outcomes from this visit. It is also important because of their strategic location. And in the event of more tension with China, then Brunei can play a very significant part in terms of helping Quad in that region. It could be a base, it could be a landing point, a refueling point, and all of that, which is part and parcel of what is called for. We are definitely already servicing and are expanding the whole concept of maritime security, both in terms of our own Navy, and we are also servicing American ships and repairing them. They are going to be crucial aircraft carriers in the region. Brunei again comes into this, and with a monarchy that is stable and has been there for 600 years, decision making will be quick and supportive. Uday.
Yes, absolutely. Professor Nalapath, this is, of course, an interesting trend. Do you believe and do you see India giving larger importance to small island nations going forward as well, due to China and the US's specific focus on them for strategic benefits?
Uday, first of all, I wouldn't call nations big or small based on territorial size, because territory has got nothing to do with the importance of a country geopolitically. I think Gautam has put forward a very good idea, which is that India and Brunei sometime now or in the future sign an agreement in which each can use the other's facilities, the way we have with the Americans, for example. I think that's an excellent idea. Now, General Sudhakarji is someone I admire a lot, and I would respectfully request the General never call it the South China Sea. Please. It's a misnomer. It has nothing to do with South China or any part of China. It is the ASEAN Sea. So let's stop calling this so-called South China Sea anything other than what it is, which is the ASEAN Sea. Having said that, I'd like to say that a lot of important outcomes are not mentioned in joint communiques or made public. And I think where India and Brunei are concerned, that is also going to be very much a part of the mix. They don't expect everything to be made public, don't expect everything to be there in a joint statement. There will be, in my view, a lot of good outcomes which will please the people of India and the people of Brunei in the joint statement. But several of the outcomes will come from the delegations meeting each other, and these outcomes are going to remain, for obvious reasons, not publicized.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.